Hi everybody, how is your day going, guys? Hurry up to join to the today live session. I hope you all will be doing great for the today, guys. So you should have to join to the today live session, tapping the screen and share the live. Having a lot of love and respect for you joining, guys. Hurry up to join to the live stream, and also to do the super chat, send the laughing disco, and have to write your name in the chat. Hurry up, guys. Hurry up to write your name in the chat. Thank you so much for your joining, guys, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Hurry up, guys, everybody to join the stream. Hurry up. Let's write your name in the chat. Hi Kale, how are you Kale? Where are you from watching, my lovely brother? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Kale. Thank you so much, Kale. How are you, lovely brother? Kale, how are you, my dear brother? Thank you so much for your joining. Thank you so much for your joining, my lovely brother. A lot of love and respect for you joining. I'm okay. Thank you so much for you joining, my lovely brother. A lot of love and respect. Thank you. Thank you so much for you joining. Thank you. Everybody have to write your name in the chat. Pepito, how are you, Pepito? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Pepito. Thank you so much for your joining. Sultan, how are you, dear Sultan? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Sultan. How are you, Sultan? Kayana, how are you, Kayana? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Kayana. How are you, Kayana? Thank you so much for your joining, my dear. Your name is Virgo. Okay, Virag. Thank you so much, Virgal. Thank you, Virgilando. Thank you so much for your joining, Virgilando. A lot of love and respect. Jeevan, how are you, Jeevan? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Jeevan. Hurry up, guys. Every respected member have to write your name in the chat. Carter, how are you, Carter? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Carter. Please, everybody, to write your name in the chat, guys. Limar, how are you, Limar? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Limar. Respected Limar. Alani, how are you, Alani? Thank you so much for your joining, guys. Please send the laughing disco or do the super chat for my support, guys. Thank you so much for your joining. Daisy, how are you, dear Daisy? A lot of love and respect for your joining, dear Daisy. Thank you so much for your joining. Salma, how are you, dear Salma? How are you, pretty Salma? Thank you so much for your joining. Vine, how are you, dear Vine? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Vine. I'm writing the name of the every person. Yeah, I'm writing the name of the every person, guys. Hurry up to write your name. Hassan, how are you, Hassan? Thank you so much for your joining. And also to do the super chat, guys, send the laughing disco. Yepidor, how are you, Yepidor? How are you, Yepidor? Thank you so much for your joining. Daisy, I write your name, my dear Zamina. How are you, Zamina? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Zamina. Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat. Bali, how are you, Bali? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Bali. And lots of love and respect for your joining. Have it. Robin, how are you, Robin? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Robin. How are you, Robin? Thank you so much for your joining, my dear. Hi, dear. Hi, Star. Thank you so much for your joining. Marjorie, how are you, Marjorie? Thank you so much for you joining, Marjorie. How are you, my dear Marjorie? Thank you so much for you joining, my dear. Zanab, how are you, Zanab? Thank you so much for you joining. Please, everybody, make the like the stream, guys. Double tapping the screen, guys, and also to do the support chat, guys. Thank you so much for you joining. Thank you. Robin, Rajan, Mario, thank you, Aleni, thank you. Mario, how are you, Maro? How are you, Maro? Thank you so much for you joining, Mario. Emery, how are you, Emery? Thank you so much for you joining, respected Emery. Victor, how are you, Victor? Thank you so much for you joining, respected Victor. How are you, Victor? A lot of love and respect for you, you're joining. Hurry up, guys. Every person to write your name in the chat. Gaolina, how are you, Gaolina? Thank you so much for you joining, Gaolina. How are you, Gaolina? Every respected person to write my name. That's my brother name. Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you for you joining. Miozan, how are you, Miozan? Thank you so much for you joining. I write your name, my dear. Inhappin, how are you, Inhappin? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Inhappin. How are you, Inhappin? Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for you joining, Inhappin. Dalia, how are you, Dalia? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Dalia. Please, everybody, Dala, thank you so much for you joining. Everybody to write your name in the chat, guys. Aria, how are you, Aria? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Aria. Please, everybody, make the like this and make like the sharing. Tazha, how are you, Tazha? If any person can do the super chat easily for my support, guys, you should do the super chat or send the laughing disco. Heesang, how are you, Heesang? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Heesang. Jaden, how are you, dear Jaden? Thank you so much for you joining, respected Jaden. Thank you so much for you joining, respected Jaden. Leopita, how are you, Leopita? Thank you so much for you joining, respected Leopita. Please, everybody, to write your name in the chat. Aria, I write your name, pretty Aria. I write your name, mother. Let me write it once again, Aria. Thank you so much for your joining, dear Aria. Jaden, I write your name, mother. Zuzana, how are you, Zuzana? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Zuzana. A lot of love and respect for you joining. Please, everybody, Niga, how are you, Niga? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Niga. Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat, guys. Nishimura, hi, Nishimura, how are you, Nishimura? Please, guys, everybody, to make the like, to do the super chat, guys, and send the laughing disco. Samuel, how are you, Samuel? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Samuel. And lots of love and respect for you joining. Asbala, how are you, Asbala? Thank you so much for you joining, respected Asbala. Respected Asbala, I write your name. Lini, how are you, pretty Lini? Thank you so much for you joining, pretty Lini. Thank you so much for you joining, pretty Lini. Hurry up, guys. Every respected member have to write your name in the chat. Leah, how are you, Leah? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Leah. Nico, how are you, Nico? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Nico. Zanem, how are you, dear Zanem? Please, everybody have to write your name in the chat, guys. Encourage the likes. And also, if any person want to do the super chat for my support, you should have to make the donation, guys. Kana, how are you, Kana? If you can do the super chat for my support, you should do it, guys. Mary, Marcy, how are you, Marcy? Thank you so much for you joining, dear Marcy. Darling, how are you, darling? A lot of love and respect for you joining, dear darling. Mia, how are you, Mia? Thank you so much for you joining, pretty Mia. Leah, how are you, dear Leah? Thank you so much for you joining. Oxo, how are you, Oxo? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Oxo. Saleh, how are you, dear Saleh? Thank you so much for your joining. Please, guys, make the like, the sharing. Mahala, how are you, Mahala? How are you, Mahala? Thank you so much for your joining. Respected Mahala, how are you, Mahala? Like Bone, how are you, Like Bone? Thank you so much for your joining, Like Bone. Thank you so much for your joining, Like Bone. How are you, Like Bone? Thank you so much for your joining. Aria, how are you, Aria? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Aria. Please, guys, make the like and to do the super chat, guys. Liusi, how are you, Liusi? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Liusi. Sagar, how are you, Sagar? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Sagar. Please, guys, gracias, welcome there. Olije, how are you, Olije? Thank you so much for your joining, the respected Olije. Cambridge, how are you, Cambridge? How are you, Cambridge? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Cambridge. Camberlane, how are you, Camberlane? Thank you so much for your joining, my dear. Alicia, how are you, Alicia? Thank you so much for your joining, pretty Alicia. Please, everybody, if you wanna can do the super chat. Anna, how are you, Anna? To do the super chat for my support, you can send the laughing disco, and also you can send the finger heart. Yeah, finger hearts is looks amazing. Josie, how are you, Josie? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Josie. PP, how are you, PP? Thank you so much for your joining, dear PP. How are you, PP? Please, everybody have to write your name in the chat, guys, and encourage the likes. Welcome, welcome, dear Jackson. How are you, Jackson? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Jackson. Please, everybody have to write your name in the chat. Ghost, how are you, Ghost? How are you, Ghost? Ghost. Thank you so much for your joining. Anna, I write your name, dear Aaron. How are you, Aaron? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Aaron. Kimberly, I write your name, my dear. Thank you, Marina. How are you, dear Marina? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Marina. Everybody have to write your name in the chat, guys. Joiner, how are you, Joiner? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Joiner. Ebrar, how are you, Ebrar? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Ebrar. Please, everybody. Zoe, how are you, dear Zoe? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Zoe. Steven, how are you, Steven? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Steven. Yahya, how are you, Yahya? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Yahya. Please, everybody, to do the super chat, guys, and send the laughing disco. Joiner, how are you, Joiner? Thank you for your joining, dear Joiner. Marina, I write your name, dear Marina. Ebrar, I write your name, dear Ebrar. Jump, how are you, Jump? Thank you so much for your joining. Alvin, how are you, Alvin? How are you, Alvin? Thank you so much for your joining. Vees, how are you, Vees? Thank you so much for your joining. Asadora, hi, Asadora. Thank you so much for your joining. Mabel, how are you, Mabel? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Mabel. Samia, how are you, Samia? Hurry up, guys, making the like and subscribing to the channel. If you wanna can support, you should do the super chat for my support. Mamoon, how are you, Mamoon? Rumi, how are you, dear Rumi? Thank you so much for your joining. Hurry up, guys. Every respected member have to write your name in the chat. Samaya, how are you, Samaya? Thank you so much for your joining, pretty Samaya. JJ, how are you, JJ? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Aloha, how are you? Aloha. Thank you so much for you joining. Aloha. Alvina, how are you? Alvina. Thank you so much for you joining. Respected Alvina. Mira, how are you? Mira. Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat. Sophia, how are you? Sophia. Thank you so much for you joining. Pretty Sophia. Hurry up, guys. Everybody have to write your name in the chat. Sarah, how are you? Pretty Sarah. Thank you so much for your joining. Respected Sarah. Please, guys, increase the likes and also to do the super chat, guys. Yeah, also to do the super chat for the support. How are you, Thank you so much for your joining, dear, Harry, how are you, Harry? Thank you so much for your joining. Jackson, how are you, Jackson? Thank you so much for your joining. Sorry, my sister wants to join and jump out. She does not want to use her real name. Okay, no worry, no problem, my dear. Bella, how are you, Asbella? Guys, if you wanna can do the super chat, guys, you should do the donation. Asbala, how are you, Asbala? Thank you so much for your joining. Vpin, how are you, Vpin? Hyojin, how are you, Hyojin? Everybody to write your name in the chat, guys. Sophia with A. Okay, my dear Sophia. Okay, pretty. Thank you. Welcome, my dear. Lule, how are you, Lule? Thank you so much for your joining. Please, guys, everybody to write your name in the chat, guys. Mia, how are you, Mia? Please, any person can do the super chat, guys. She can get her real name. Mia. Hi, pretty Mia. How are you, Mia? Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat. Robin, how are you, Robin? Thank you so much for your joining. Riley, how are you, Riley? Thank you so much for your joining. My name, Nymphan, how are you, Nymphan? Thank you so much for your joining, Nymphan. Alana, how are you, Alana? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Alana. Walker, how are you, Walker? Volak, how are you, Volak? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Volak. Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat, guys. Larry, how are you, Larry? Hi, JJ, how are you, JJ? Thank you so much for your joining. Taram, how are you, Taram? Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat, guys, and encourage the likes. Marjon, how are you, Marjon? Hurry up, guys. Ronaldo, hurry up, Ronaldo. Every person have to write the name in the chat, guys. Aria, how are you, Aria? Thank you so much for your joining. Allo, how are you, Allo? Berlin, how are you, Berlin? Thank you so much for your joining. Any person can do the super chat, guys. Alani, how are you, Alani? Thank you so much for your joining, pretty Alani. Please, guys, everybody have to write your name in the chat. Sharon, how are you, Sharon? Thank you so much for your joining. Jai, how are you, Jai? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Jai. Saline, how are you, Saline? Thank you so much for your joining, pretty Saline. Rudy, how are you, Rudy? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Rudy. Turajo, how are you, Turajo? Thank you so much for your joining, Turajo. Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat. Welcome there. Any person can do the super chat for my support, guys. Zalmi, how are you, Zalmi? Brayson, how are you, Brayson? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Brayson. How are you, Brayson? Thank you so much for your joining. Kalia, how are you, Kalia? Thank you so much for your joining, respected Kalia. Thank you for subscribing, dear Megan. Thank you. Hurry up, guys. Passy, how are you, Passy? Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat. How are you, dear Megan? Tarena, how are you, Tarena? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Tarena. Avery, how are you, Avery? Thank you so much for your joining. Olia, how are you, Olia? Aloya. Tarena, I write your name there. Can you sister name again? But she's Mia. How are you, pretty Mia? Thank you so much for your joining, Mia. Miku, how are you, Miku? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Miku. Any person can send the laughing disco for my support, guys. Doi, how are you, Doi? Linko, how are you, Linko? Thank you so much for your joining. Messi, how are you, Messi? Lincoln, okay, Lincoln. Hurry up, guys. Everybody have to write your name in the chat. Alehan, how are you, Alehan? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Alehan. How are you, Alehan? Saleman, how are you, Saleman? Thank you so much for your joining. Anzala, how are you, Anzala? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Anzala. Hurry up, guys, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Antonine, how are you, Antonine? Thank you so much for your joining, Antonine. Ronaldo, how are you, Ronaldo? Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Alex, how are you, Alex? Thank you so much for your joining. Aria, how are you, Aria? Thank you so much for your joining. And Arthur, how are you, Arthur? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Arthur. Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat. Neymar, how are you, Neymar? Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat. If someone have trying to spam, he will be got the time out from the screen. Cam? How are you, Cam? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Cam. Alicia, how are you, Alicia? Victor, how are you, Victor? Please, everybody, to do the super chat, guys. Zoe, how are you, dear Zoe? Thank you so much for your joining. Respect is Zoe. Hurry up, guys. Everybody have to write your name in the chat. Anna, how are you, Anna? Alia, how are you, Alia? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Alia. Please, everybody have to write your name in the chat. Jose, how are you, Jose? Ronaldo, how are you, Ronaldo? Foria, how are you, Foria? Brenda, how are you, Brenda? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Brenda. Please, guys, to do the super chat, guys. Matteo, how are you, Matteo? Thank you so much for your joining, Matteo. Foria, how are you, Foria? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Foria. Marina, hi, Marina. How are you, Marina? Kale, how are you, Kale? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Kale. Any person can do the super chat, guys, or send the laughing disco. Lara Raj, how are you, Lara Raj? Thank you so much for your joining. Fiona, how are you, Fiona? Khadija, how are you, Khadija? Kare, how are you, Kare? Hurry up, guys. Every person to write your name in the chat. Annie, how are you, Annie? Hurry up, guys. Making the like and subscribing to the channel. Every person have to write your name in the chat. Malini, how are you, Malini? Malik, how are you, Malik? Thank you so much for your joining. Kimdija, how are you, Kimdija? Arthur, how are you, Arthur? Michael, how are you, Michael? Miku, how are you, Miku? Thank you, welcome there. Any person can do the super chat, guys. Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Hi Megan, how are you, dear Megan? Thank you so much for you joining, Megan. Megan, can you send a laughing disco for the support, my dear? You should send a one laughing disco. Amanda, yeah, Amanda, how are you, Amanda? Aqualis, hi Aqualis, how are you, Aqualis? Anybody, brother, you're doing wrong. No, I'm rowing perfect there. Hurry up, guys, to write your name in the chat. Yeah, I'm now. Who are you? Who I am, I know. Everybody to write your name in the chat. Susiam, how are you, Susiam? Everybody, please write your name in the chat. Yonchi, how are you, Yonchi? Please, everybody, have to write your name in the chat, guys. Making the like and subscribing to the channel. Having a lot of love and respect for you, Johnny. Welcome there. Arlie, how are you, Arlie? Thank you so much for you joining, Arlie. How are you, Arlie? Anybody can send the laughing disco, guys. Amelia, how are you, Amelia? How are you, Amelia? Ava, how are you, Ava? Thank you so much for you joining. Michael, how are you, Michael? Thank you so much for you joining, Michael. Mira, how are you, Mira? Lena, how are you, Lena? Anybody can send the laughing disco, please. Aris, how are you, Aris? Finally, how are you, finally? Thank you so much for you joining. Aris, sorry. Hi, Aris. Aris, I write your name out there. Everybody to write your name in the chat, guys, please. If you can easily, you should send me the laughing disco, guys. You will be showing there the gift icon. Click on the gift icon. Send the laughing disco for the support, guys. Harry, honey, hi, honey. Thank you so much for your joining, pretty honey. Thank you so much for your joining, dear honey. Amber, how are you, Amber? Thank you so much for your joining. Annie, how are you, Annie? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Annie. Please, guys, hurry up to write your name in the chat. Ayub, how are you, Ayub? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Ayub. Q-chan, what's mean there? Please hurry up to write your name in the chat, guys. Hurry up, guys. Michael, I write your name, Michael. Jackson, hurry up, Jackson. Hurry up, guys. Everybody have to write your name in the chat, making the like and subscribing to the channel. Having a lot of love and respect for you joining. Anybody can do the super chat, guys. Any person can do the super chat, guys. Please send the laughing disco or do the super chat. Hurry up, guys. Everybody have to write your name in the chat. Jolene, hurry up, Jolene. Thank you so much for your joining, dear Jolene. A lot of love and respect for you joining, dear Jolene. Hyper, hi Hyper. Thank you so much for your joining, dear Hyper. Hurry up, guys. Everybody have to write your name in the chat. Adeline, hurry up, Adeline. Any person can do the super chat, guys, for my support. Hi, Adeline, hurry up, Adeline. Anna, hurry up, Anna. Please, guys, click on the money icon. You will be showing there the money icon. Click on the money icon to do the super chat for the support, guys. Anna, I write your name there. Adeline, I write your name pretty. Looks there, Adeline. Adeline, I write your name. Look there. Armia, how are you, Armia? Catalina, hi Catalina, how are you, Catalina? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Catalina. Please, guys, Jose, how are you, Jose? Please, guys, send a one laughing disco for the support, guys. Yeah, send a one beautiful gift on the screen, guys. Only a one. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, one beautiful gift you should have to send and screen for my support, guys. There you'll be showing two icon. One is gift, second is the super chat. Click on the gift icon. You should play one gift, guys. Dara, how are you, Dara? Hashira, hi Hashira. Thank you so much for your joining, dear Hashira. Hurry up, guys. Nini, how are you, Nini? Summer, how are you, Summer? Hurry up, guys. Everybody have to write your name in the chat. Hurry up, guys. Choi, hurry, Choi. Thank you so much for your joining. Please, every person to write your name in the chat, guys. Noli, hurry, Noli. Arana, hurry, Arana. Thank you so much for your joining, dear Arana. Agita, hurry, Agita. Harry, hurry, Harry. Amber, hurry, Amber. Aloe, hurry, Aloe. Thank you so much for your joining. Andrea, hurry, Andrea. Andrea, how are you, Andrea? Any person can send the laughing disco for do the super chat, guys. Yona, how are you, Yona? Pinky, hi Pinky, how are you, Pinky? How are you, dear Pinky? Angie, how are you, Angie? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Angie. Any person can do the super chat, guys, please. Janali, how are you, Janali? How are you, dear Janala? Thank you so much for your joining, dear Janala. Rafina, how are you, Rafina? Where are you from watching, dear Rafina? Oh, thank you from Spain. Thank you. Can you do the super chat for my support, Rafina? I'm good, my dear. ¿Cómo estás? I'm good, my dear. Valley. Can you do a super chat, my dear? Yeah, you will be showing the gift icon on here. Yeah, here you'll be showing a gift icon. Click on, sorry, here you'll be showing a money icon. Click on the money icon to do the super chat, my dear, if you wanna can. Mia, how are you, Mia? Neymar, how are you, Neymar? Shani, how are you, Shani? Hakam, how are you, Hakam? Jenny, how are you, Jenny? Please, everybody have to write your name in the chat. Valley, are you blind, Valley? What is that? Look that. What is that? Tell me now. Are you blind?